Hello, welcome to the Swing and Bunt podcast. Right now, it is currently just me and Michelle. Um, Later, Jake will be joining us and probably Wes, not sure. Um, but for now, just us two. We're going to go ahead and start off with baseball because we know that's everybody's least favorite. Um, Everyone always talks about how we didn't talk about more football, but this is the Swing and Bunt podcast, which is a baseball term. So we'll start baseball. As we know, I'm just gonna give a quick update and then we'll go through each series. I don't know what y'all talked about last week when it came to baseball, but it doesn't matter because we're gonna go through it because a lot has happened in the past week. Right now, Boston Red Sox, who are the wild card team, are playing the number one seed, the Tampa Bay Rays, and they currently lead 2-1, scoring 5, 14, and 6 runs, which is nuts.
What inning is that game in? Oh, it's bottom of the third.
Yeah, so I don't know when is that game on right now?
Yeah, it is. It's the bottom of the third inning right now.
Okay,
Red Sox are up 3-0.
So if the Red Sox win, it's over. 10 Bay's out. It's nuts.
Wow.
Wowzers. All right, so the next series is my AL favorite team to win, the Houston Astros versus the White Sox. Astros almost swept them, but they did end up losing game 3, 12-6, even though they were up 5-1. And that game today got postponed for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know if it's stormy there or whatever, but it will be played tomorrow. It doesn't say the time. So that game will be played tomorrow.
2:07.
2:07. And if the Astros win, the series is over. If Chicago wins, they go to a game 5, which will be nuts. And, anything can happen in game 5. National League, the Braves and Brewers. The Braves are currently up 2-1. They say so myself. Game 1 was really close. It was 2-1. The Brewers squeaked out a win. Game 2, it was 3-0. We hit a 3 runs in the third inning, I think it was, and no one scored any since then. And then today, it was one bad pitch was given up in that game basically, and we won 3-0 because of it because we hit a home run off of it. Game 4 will be tomorrow in Atlanta. So if the Braves win, they move on to the NLCS 2 years in a row, which with all the injuries they have is kind of shocking, but I'll get to that later.
Big.
And then the Giants and Dodgers. It is currently tied 1-1, which everybody thought this was the matchup of like the century.
Oh, this is the World Series.
No, it's not, obviously, but
it is.
I'm leaving this. I'm done. What was I gonna say? Oh, first time ever, 200 plus teams have faced each other. I think in the NLDS.
It's the first time the Giants and Dodgers have ever faced each other in the postseason.
Which, I guess, being in the same division, it's hard to face each other. And Giants usually stink, and then when the Giants were good, the Dodgers were stinking. So it's just like finally got it all together. Which this could be Manager of the Year for the Giants. They're probably going to win some other award of some kind. But let's go ahead and start off with that series. We know you're a huge Giants fan, huge as in biggest baseball fan you could be.
I've been a big baseball fan since middle of May 2021.
Nice. A solid 5 months or whatever. So go ahead and give the breakdown of the series. What's going on and what do you think is going to actually happen?
So the Giants hosted the first 2 games at Oracle Park in San Francisco. They won the first game. It looked pretty good. They won 4-0, a shutout against a pretty dominant Dodgers team. So everybody was riding high, and then they got their butts handed to them the next day. And I think they lost. I think it was 9-2, and that game was just never close. So they're heading down to LA for the next 2 games. I think it's next 2, and then the 5th would be in San Francisco if there's a 5th. I'm not sure. I want the Giants to win, like none other. And like, I'm not going to be like Jake, who's always like the Indians suck and they don't have a chance ever. The Giants very much have a chance. They won 107 games. They're a good team. I just think the Dodgers are maybe a hair more consistent. But the Giants are old. So like the season just kind of keeps going. They're just old and they're not getting any younger. I think that hurts them a lot. I think the Dodgers will win this in 4 games. I don't want that to happen. I would love to be wrong. Please come back and tell me how stupid I was.
But you are stupid, but for other reasons.
But I think the Dodgers are going to win. I want the Giants to win. I'm rooting for the Giants to win. I'll be thrilled if they win. I'll be very happy if the Dodgers lose. We'll be doing all of baseball a favor by eliminating the Dodgers from the playoffs.
That you would.
But so I just think the Giants they're really old. I think it's going to hurt them a little bit here. If they make it through the NLDS, it's going to hurt them in the NLCS. And if they happen to make it to the World Series, that'll be.
You're going to keep saying this, and they're going to keep winning.
Well, hey, I'm happy to be wrong. So that's my take on the series. The Dodgers have, I don't know. I just have a bad feeling about it.
I thought it was interesting that game one starter, what was his name?
Logan Webb.
It was Logan Webb.
I believe.
And like how Kevin Gausman was like your ace all year. He was great. Logan Webb came out of nowhere and just pitched a gem and just shut out the Dodgers.
He's been playing really well since the Giants played the Brewers at the beginning of August. He has like dominated. And Gausman was amazing the first half of the year, and the second half has been the Logan Webb story. I mean, they're both great. The whole Giants. I mean, I love, and you're seeing this more in baseball. I love how they're like basically for the month of August and September, like they had 3 starting pitchers, and 7, 8, 9 years ago, nobody would have thought you had a shot doing anything with only 3 starting pitchers. And I just love what Gabe Kapler has done. And the pitching staff there and how they've handled all those situations. And I think that is their biggest strength.
I think it's funny that Gabe Kapler was in Philadelphia and they were absolutely awful, even though they had good talent, but he leaves and they're still bad. And look what he did in San Francisco.
Yeah.
So I think it's more of an organization thing. I thought that was kind of neat to see, because I actually meant to talk about that probably a couple of weeks ago when I saw that they were doing so good.
Yeah.
So you got to still have a manager in that, I guess.
Yeah, I think so, 100%. So, and we're obviously helped by like Brandon Crawford, who's, I don't know, 38. I don't know,
92.
He's old, and he's having a career year. Buster Posey looks really solid as ever. Even with Brandon Belt, the Chris Bryant pickup at the All-Star break. I mean, all those guys are good and they're studs. Something about the Dodgers scares me a little bit, but it's a very heated rivalry. So anything's on the table here.
I meant to say this at the beginning. One thing about this playoff so far, it's been really weird, is that NL ERAs for starters has been like 3.2 or something like that, and AL is like 6.4. Like, yeah, like the offense in the AL is just going crazy, and the pitching in the NL is going crazy, which is why I think the NL will win the World Series, is because good pitching usually trumps good hitting in the playoffs. Offense. Yeah. But that was a whole other note. Let's move on to the Braves and Brewers series. Have you been paying attention much to this one besides just the scores?
I saw that the Brewers won the first game, and I saw that the Braves won the next 2, and everybody at work is complaining about it.
Nice. I like it. The Braves kind of went like, Max Fried was the hottest pitcher in baseball. He won National League Pitcher of the Month for September. So everyone kind of expected him to start game 1, but instead we went with Charlie Morton, who is one of the most clutch pitchers in baseball in playoff history. And it showed that it was not the best idea, even though, it worked out well, because I would hate to have Max Fried wasted against Corbin Burnes, because Corbin Burnes is such a good pitcher as well. Now, I do think that the Braves will win tomorrow, and I do think the Braves will move on because we have a better pitcher going tomorrow. Outside the 3 main ones for the Brewers, they don't have a whole lot.
I would be psyched if the Braves won, and I would be psyched if the Brewers won. I
would not be.
For me, this series is a win-win. Either way, I'm pretty happy. I know the Giants can beat any of them in the postseason.
I don't even know who the Brewers are going to pitch tomorrow. I don't even know who their 4th starter is. You should look that up for me.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know the Braves will start probably Oscar Iona. That's how you say his name, Ynoa. He was one of the best pitchers in the beginning. Then he punched a wall and broke his hand, and he was out for
one of the
season.
One of the Brewers relievers did that.
Devin Williams, yeah.
Yeah.
it's really helped us out a lot because they can't pitch him and they've been putting other guys in. We've been hitting that Hauser. Hauser's been so bad. An interesting stat is Jock Peterson. He's a very good playoff hitter. Yeah, he's been our pinch hitter all 3 games, and the guy is 3 for 3 with 2 home runs. So that's an interesting fact. I thought was cool.
My very limited panic research here has brought up nothing for who the Brewers are starting tomorrow.
All right. Well, why don't you discuss the Astros and Sox series a little bit? Just kind of a little bit. Try to mention. I'm going to look up who the starter is tomorrow.
Astros looked really good the first 2 games. I mean, scoring 6 runs and 9 runs, just pretty dominant hitting. And all season long, that's what they've been doing. They've been dominating those hitting stats. And so I don't know. I think this is not really even going to be close. I think the Astros are going to kick the Sox off. The Sox.
You've already messed up.
Well, I'd say the Astros are going to kick the Sox off the Sox.
Yeah, it's real funny. Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, I'm not I mean, like, we were kind of joking, but kind of serious about how I'm a baseball fan since May. So I'm not,
but it's true.
uber duper familiar with either of their lineups because I've followed just the Giants exclusively almost. So I just know that the Astros have been super hot all year long with their bats, and that seems to have continued right into the NLDS.
All right, it's supposed to be. It will either be Corbin Burns again or Eric Lauer. No idea who that is, but
I bet it'll be Corbin Burns. My guess.
I don't know. He pitched 4 days ago, and he pitched, I think, over 90-something pitches. So I don't know. Maybe.
I mean,
their playoffs are on the line. So
yeah, well, that's kind of what I think about. Is like, and I know this happened in the 2012 World Series. Justin Verlander pitched the first and 4th game, and it's like your season's on the line, so don't really hold back.
Verlander's also built a little different than most pitchers.
I'm just saying. I wonder like if they'll start him for like 5 innings and then bring in the other guy, or if they're like throw out there and if you suck right away, we'll pull you. I don't know.
I would not be surprised. Yeah. I thought it was raining. Sorry, I had a minor heart attack.
It's good. Oh, I've got a score update.
The Colts scored.
No.
Oh, 5-0.
The Red Sox are up 5-0.
Yeah. Okay. I saw that a second ago. I was going to say it. You beat me to it. You're too fast.
Colts scored.
Nope. So a Colts fan just texted me and said, let's go. So I'm assuming they did score.
We'll just look that up real quick.
All right. The Astros and White Sox, I'll hit a little more in depth. Game 1. They just came out. I think it was McCullers pitched for the Astros. I don't know who pitched for the White Sox, but Astros just jumped out pretty quickly. Never looked back, and I don't think the White Sox scored till the end of the game. Maybe not, but it was a competitive. Is what I'm trying to say. Game 2, same situation. I don't think it was very competitive.
They sucked.
Now that one I could be wrong about because it was 9-4, so it could have been close. Now Game 3 was very interesting because, like I said, the Astros were up 5-1 at one point, and then the White Sox, I guess, just didn't want to lose. They just didn't want to go home, and they ended up crawling their way back and winning 12-6. And I watched half the game. It was a pretty good game. I'm pretty old, so I can't stay up late anymore. So it's been a good series. I mean, it's obviously been dominated by the Astros, but it's been a lot of scoring, so it's pretty fun to watch.
It is. Go ahead. Sorry.
I do expect the Astros to win, whether that be tomorrow or Game 5 in Houston. I kind of hope it goes Game 5. I hope every series goes Game 5 with the Braves, so all the players get tired, and then the Braves can just walk to the World Series.
It is kind of nice that none of these are 3-game sweeps.
Yes.
I think it just kind of shows the case that each team does deserve to be here.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
they do. I do think they do. I think it's pretty even throughout. Like, I mean, you had the Dodgers, and I thought the Rays
and the Giants.
The Boston Tampa Bay series has been interesting. The Rays won first game 5-0. I can't say his last name. Arozarena, is that how you say it?
Arozarena? I don't know.
No, that's definitely not it.
I just shot my shot.
He is one of those players that come in the playoffs and just torch everything. In game one, he hit a home run and he stole home. It never happens in pros. Someone steals home, and on top of that, it was in the playoffs.
Yeah.
It was insane. First off, that's why you never leave someone wide open on third base and don't put someone on to hold them close to the bag. But that's my personal opinion. But it doesn't matter because game two and game three, Boston came out. Boston in game two destroyed the Rays 14-6. Destroyed them. Didn't struggle at all. And then game three was interesting. It was probably the best game so far in all the playoffs. It went 13 innings, which is the second longest NLDS game there has ever been. Ironically, the first one was the Red Sox as well. Back in the day when I had David Ortiz and Johnny Damon. But it was funny. I was watching this game at the end, and man's on top of his stuff. Invited I just lost my train of thought. When Vasquez, that's his name, came up to bat in the bottom of the 13th, the announcers were like, one time ever has a catcher hit a walk-off home run in the NLDS. In the very next pitch, sure enough, Vasquez just murdered the ball over the Green Monster, and Boston won. And Boston looks like the better team, honestly. They look like they're going to win the series. I do think Boston does end up winning the series in 4. At Boston, their fans are nuts, and we'll see. And they're up 5-0 right now, so my prediction is looking pretty promising.
Good.
All right. So that's the series right now. My wife needs me real quick. So once you transition us into football, talk about some key matchups.
Yeah. This was a pretty, I thought this was probably the best week of the NFL so far. Unfortunately, I'm working Sundays at like 10 until like 4:30. So I missed a lot of the action in the noon games, but I was able to catch the last half of some of the afternoon games. And then I kind of kept little tabs on Sunday night, but with the weather delay, I was like, not staying up for this. So it was just like tons of crazy stuff. Fourth quarter come from behind wins. You give Mason Crosby 4 attempts to make a field goal. He will make one of them, and it will be the game-winning field goal. So that was kind of interesting. I personally, if you haven't picked up on this, I'm a huge Chargers fan. I'm mostly a huge Justin Herbert fan. I love Justin Herbert. I love him so much. So I was able to catch the last half, or basically the fourth quarter of the Chargers-Browns game, and that was insane. I mean, that was just like crazy. The Browns defense, who had been like really, really solid up to this point in the season. I think the most points they allowed was to the Kansas City Chiefs, and it was like 24. And the Chargers, whose defense has stepped it up, like the most points they'd allowed this season was like 27. It was also to the Chiefs. Like they just beat up on each other. And the fourth quarter was crazy. And really Browns losing because they pushed Austin Eckler into the end zone was awesome. I mean, it was just, I thought, a really, really good week. That was probably my favorite game. We got to see Trey Lance start his first NFL game, so that was disappointing. It really wasn't.
He did look pretty good, though. I mean, he definitely looked like a running quarterback.
He looked good. I don't understand why Kyle Shanahan has drafted Trey Sermon, but we're going to run 150 yards with Trey Lance. That's fine. It's okay.
Was Trey Sermon hurt?
No.
Because he didn't play at all.
No, he played 2 snaps.
Oh. Trey Lance did get hurt. Did you see that?
Yes. He might not play this week. So that's good. I think we still have Nick Mullins.
Nice.
He carried last year. So, but yeah, I mean, I thought it was a really good week for football. James, how are the Titans?
They took their hiatus from completely sucking. Pardon my language. They lost last week to the Jets. They shouldn't have lost to the Jets. No one should ever lose to the Jets. Maybe the Giants, but they won 37-19. And Derrick Henry did Derrick Henry. He had 3 touchdowns. I think over 100 yards. Overall, it was a very good game. The game that I wanted to talk about the most, the Cardinals 49ers game was highly disappointing because Kyler Murray was hurt, and it was obvious it was affecting him, except that throw to DeAndre Hopkins at that one point. But any throw to DeAndre Hopkins is probably going to be a better throw than what it actually
play
is.
Through the pain.
The game that was most disappointing for me was the Bills-Chiefs game. This is like the 2 best offenses just going at it. And the Chiefs just are not the Chiefs. Their defense is just absolutely awful. Offense can't do anything because the defense is so bad. There's so many. They're second, I think, in penalties in the league. They're second. They're tied for first in turnovers in the league, and it's not the same Chiefs we're used to. Now, will they turn it around? Probably. Will they win the division? I don't think they will win the division. I think they will end up going to the wild card.
They got they're 2-3, aren't they?
They are 2-3.
And the Chargers lead that division right now at 4-1.
Yep.
Makes me so happy.
I thought that something cool about this game was when I was watching it at halftime, I think it was, Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes were both the leading passers and rushers. And actually, Patrick Mahomes was the leading rusher in the whole game. With
Really?
61 yards. Yeah.
So he was scrambling.
Dawson Knox was the leading receiver.
Dawson Knox. I mean, we'll save it for fantasy, but I like him.
I try to get him from you.
He's a firework. He's gonna go up and be amazing this year, and who knows what's gonna happen after that.
He should be the one that you're trying to get.
I have him in a lot of leagues.
Never mind.
I know what you're saying.
All right. Just to highlight some more stuff. There was really no. I mean, outside those two games, I mean, there were a couple close games, but they were like the Patriots-Texans game. I mean, Davis Mills threw for 300 yards against the Patriots. What the heck happened to the Patriots?
Yeah, it's like they went from like they're so weird because they like 1 week they've got this dominating defensive like stand, and then they let Davis Mills throw 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. It's like, where's that?
I don't.
Russell Wilson. That's big news. Out for a little while.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw his finger. It did not look good.
It couldn't bend the end of it because he tore that tendon.
Yeah, and so it's crazy to me how like he did that, and it's like that night he had surgery, and next morning it's like, yeah, he's in post-op recovery. It's like it happened 6 hours ago.
These guys are so fast.
So just be glad you don't have the Chargers team doctor taking care of you at that point.
Oh, his finger's gone.
So right. He's out for a little while. That's going to hurt the Seahawks.
4 to 8 weeks is the prediction, but I think it's going to be lower towards 5, maybe is what they're thinking.
Okay.
Which Geno Smith actually played pretty well in this game. He almost brought them back.
He looked not bad. Oh, you know what? That reminds me. I was thinking because he did throw an interception. You're talking about the Chiefs not being the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes has 6 interceptions on the year through 5 weeks. He had 6 interceptions all year last year.
They're just not the same team at all. I don't know why.
Falcons beat the Jets.
Falcons
in London.
Look good.
Yeah,
in London.
Breakout game for Kyle Pitts. So that was fun to watch.
Yeah. Well, they literally had no one to throw it to but Hurst and Pitts.
Yeah.
And boy, Pitts took advantage of it.
Yes, he did. So
9 catches, 120 yards and touchdown.
That was pretty exciting. I think everybody was happy to see that. Tom Brady.
It's good to see Matt Ryan back. Matt Ryan is back. He's been throwing for 300 yards 2 games in a row and a couple touchdowns each game. So that's nice to see.
Yeah, because he's looked a little suspect at times. But another young up-and-coming quarterback, Tom Brady. Dude is
another 20 years in the league.
Sorry, 400 yards and 5 touchdowns for a pretty dominant win over the Dolphins, who I personally really like the Dolphins coming into the season. But with Tua down, Jacoby Brissett, Devontae Parker's out, their whole team.
Why don't you give the interesting stat about Tom Brady that you gave us in the chat? Was that you that gave us that?
I would love to, but I don't think I gave that stat.
All right, well, then you should have took credit for it, but now you blew it.
What?
All right,
I don't know what the stat is.
Tom Brady has never thrown for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns in one game.
Oh, wow.
Until this past game.
He was 44.
Yep.
That is nuts.
That is nuts.
I don't know. That's kind of hard to do. I wonder. I mean, part of me wonders why you kept throwing the ball when you're up 30 points. But
went around.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, when you got Tom Brady and you got Antonio Brown and Chris Godwin and Mike Evans.
I'd know too.
Steelers over Denver. Nothing exciting. We talked.
Najee Harris looked good.
Who did? Oh, Najee Harris. Yeah, he's looked good all year. Except week 1.
Juju's out for the year.
Yeah. That actually really probably helps Najee Harris more than anybody. Might actually help Big Ben too, narrow down the targets who he's got to throw to.
Hello and welcome to the Swinging Bunt. Oh, sorry. Yeah. This is when the now the show can actually start. Sorry.
We were right in a deep debate, but that's fine. No worries.
Cool.
What have I missed?
Cool.
I'm sorry.
I was actually just about to leave.
We talked playoffs, baseball, and then we just got into discussions about our favorite matchups in NFL, and we're just kind of going through all of them.
Okay, cool. It's been a really good playoff series this year.
Yes, we talked about that, except just the difference from the AL and NL has been kind of nuts.
Mm-hmm. All right, continue onward.
Go ahead, Mitch.
I mentioned the Packers game and how they went to overtime. I was really pulling for the Bengals there. That would have been a big win for them. But alas, it could not be because so many people missed so many field goals.
A crappy game.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really entertaining.
Yeah, but the kickers just
as in funny.
Mason Crosby should not be on the team right now.
I heard a good nickname for him. Missing Crosby.
That was almost as good as my kick the
I think
socks
it's a good
off
one.
the socks. Okay. Philly beat Carolina. I didn't really watch that game. Didn't really care about that game.
I watched that entire game actually.
Philly defense looked really good.
Yeah.
Granted, they had 3 interceptions.
You can tell that something was wrong with Sam Darnold. He just wasn't himself like he has been this whole year. It was like, remember when he saw Ghost? It was just like that game.
It did. It looked very similar.
I don't know what was wrong with him.
While I think he looks much better than he ever did with the Jets, he still has some growing pains to go through as far as like decision making when he's trying to come back.
He's basically a rookie.
Well, that's an interesting way to put it, honestly. I mean, no, but yeah, he's in a new system and his career's restarted, you know? I mean, it's not like he ever progressed from when he was in college the last few years. So I get that.
But yeah, I mean, I know Jalen Hurts has been a really great fantasy QB and the people in Philly seem to like him a lot.
He had a rough week.
Who?
Jalen Hurts towards the end.
No, he did not. He had
200 yards.
Touchdowns.
Yeah, I know. But did you watch the game?
Yeah, I watched the entire game. I just said
that. He started off really bad.
And then the second start.
I know. Second half, he turned things around, but it looked bad in that first half. Granted, Carolina's defense has been solid.
Carolina's defense is very good. Yes.
Yeah. So that being said,
but anyway, Philly walked away with the win there. We talked about the New England game briefly.
I think it was kind of cool that there was 3 walk-off field goals this week.
Yeah, there's a lot of deep field goals, like games that were tied by a late field goal. The Lions game. Oh, that poor Lions fans.
Didn't they lose by like a 50-yard field goal like 2 weeks in a row?
54-yard.
Yeah. And it was a great comeback and then they went for 2 because they would have tied if they kicked the extra point to be 16-16. And they go for 2 to be like, now we got it. We got our first dub of the year. And it looked like they would. I mean, Vikings didn't have any timeouts. Adam Thielen catches like the next 2 passes and he hadn't had a single catch all game. It was just, it was ridiculous. I felt bad for the Lions. I don't usually feel bad for the Lions.
I got another score update. This is about the Colts game. They are up 7-0 because Carson Wentz threw a 76-yard pass to Jonathan Taylor for a touchdown.
Wow. That's huge.
So Jonathan
that was a screen.
It could have been a wheel route.
Never mind. And then he just ran it for 15 yards too. So he's already got that was another reception. He's 87 receiving yards.
Taylor does. Are you like pulling for Taylor for a fantasy league or something?
No, I looked at the score and I want to see who got it. And
got you.
Commenting.
Did you guys talk about the Rams Seahawks game at all?
Not really. We just talked about Russell Wilson specifically, and we talked about Geno Smith didn't look too bad.
Yeah. Now here's my projection. I think Seahawks miss playoffs now, right? I mean, with how difficult their division is, it's going to be hard for them to squeak in.
I think the Cardinals and the Rams were going to take 1-2, so they were going to be third in the division.
If the 49ers weren't third.
It doesn't matter now. The 49ers are probably going to be third now, except they have more injuries than the Seahawks do.
Yeah, especially, Now, Trey Lance, he sprained his MCL, right?
Sprained his knee.
Yeah, so he could miss a week or 2 as well.
Rick Mullins.
What is up with the Giants, man? How does this always happen? Kittle's on the IR again, too. They lost how many running backs? I mean, every year, the Niners.
I know you said Giants, and I thought it was a great segue.
I'm sorry.
Because the New York Giants are also struggling with some injuries.
Oh, my gosh. Did you see Daniel Jones' concussion play?
He looked so bad.
It was rough.
I thought he might have been dead.
Somebody else. Yeah, like concussion. I can't remember.
So Jones dove for that play. He had no business trying to score there, honestly. Like, I don't know. I know you're fast, but like those guys they're gonna kill you. And sure enough, it happened. And he just tried to run through two defenders as a QB and just got smashed. It wasn't the guy, it was no dirty hit or anything. He just Jones lowered his head into the guy. But when he laid there and like kind of like looked dazed for a sec, he stood up and his eyes just looked like
glazed.
Yeah, they looked glazed over. And he tries to walk and just starts doing the whole Bambi walk on ice and was like, whoa. Yeah, it was not good. That's like when you know 100% concussed. So
I do have a question for you, Jake. This was a breakout game for Kadarius Toney, but do you think he will be suspended?
No, if anything, maybe a game, but I don't think so.
This is very important to me because I might have to start him in fantasy, but I need to know if he's going to be.
I don't think he will. Usually, you see a fight, you get ejected, and that's it. He'll probably be fined. I expect a fine.
Okay.
I would not expect his suspension.
Wasn't it like Wims threw a punch in a Steelers Saints game last year? Did he get suspended?
I don't remember. Steelers players fight people all the time. Steelers, Bengals, Browns. That whole AFC North.
Don't you remember that play? I was like, good.
It's that dog barking in the background.
Sorry, it's Obi.
I didn't think about it. I was just saying, I think it was during the Nickelodeon game. I feel like I just remember like
that was the Bears
standing there and like somebody just came up and just like punched him in the back of the head.
Oh, you are thinking of, yes, I know exactly what it is.
It was Wims. I can't remember what team he's on.
Is it Wims or Mims?
It was Wims.
Okay, yeah. There was like some guy, I forget, it was a DB.
Did he get
a receiver
suspended?
He might have because he like hit the guy like twice in the back. It was totally uncalled
but totally wrong.
I don't remember what the play was. But I don't know. I doubt he gets suspended, James.
Apparently hurt his ankle too. So
Toney looked really good. And then Barkley, you mean not Gurley. Barkley sprained his ankle.
Yeah, that was like I don't know if you saw that. That was like a really, really fluke sprain. Like,
and it's just so frustrating. I'm like, poor guy. I mean, it's not like an injury prone, like, man, he's always getting injured, got weak muscles or, just
he's missed a lot of time the last 3 years.
But like, that's not his fault though. Any player who steps on a guy's ankle like that, spraining their ankle, like I can confirm someone who's done that several times. That's what happens. Okay. So it sucks. I
was talking to somebody who was like, my ankle did that, and I was playing, pickup ball a week and a half later. So hopefully,
you can heal.
Before, and I was out 4 weeks.
Yeah, but also you're not an NFL level quarterback or
Barkley.
Running back as well that has to make deep cuts and is putting a lot more stress. In basketball, you can avoid putting a ton of stress on your ankle.
I was just trying to say that maybe they're optimistic.
I think he could come back.
His ankle looked like a baseball, so I doubt it's gonna be 2 hours.
They said 3 weeks, right? 2 to 3 weeks.
Did he go
3 to 5 weeks? I think
3 to 5.
No,
not IR.
I don't think so.
Interesting.
You never know. Sometimes ankles can heal real fast. Like if you get enough therapy on it, like they can heal pretty quick. But I imagine he's probably missing a few weeks.
There's 2 games we haven't talked about: the Saints Washington, and then the Bears Raiders.
Saints Washington didn't have a lot to bring to the table to me. I mean, Winston looked pretty solid, but I think
which Winston are you going to get? You just never know.
Yeah, I mean, he did throw a pick or two as well, but I think that's what we're going to see from Washington, like 21 points a game-ish, and their defense is just not good enough to get the job done when we thought they were going to have one of the best defenses in the league.
How depressing is
not
that?
Look that way. Yeah, I mean, Toby called it. He told us a few weeks ago. He said, Washington's defense does not have the secondary to stop it. So he was right. They just have a good front line. And when you can just do quick passes to avoid getting sacked, you should be fine. Kamara looked good.
He did. Yep. He's streaky too.
Did you guys talk of the Cleveland Chargers game?
Yeah, I talked.
That was the first thing we talked about.
Oh, it's so good. I wish I was there for that, but I won't rehash it. It was great.
Good.
It was really good.
Yeah.
That's what we said.
All right. That's all you said?
No, I mean, like we talked. I
talked. Oh, okay. I was like, okay. And then was that when you said Bears and who?
And the Raiders, which I think was one of the biggest shocks of the week.
Yeah, I fully expected the Raiders to win that game.
Me too.
We talked early on about, do we trust that the Raiders are this good? And after like week 3, we kind of all had said they look like legit. I mean, they had been playing some tough teams. They played the Chiefs. They played Browns.
Well, they started 3-0.
They played Chiefs, Chargers, and Ravens. I know at least the 3 of those 4 in the first 4
weeks. They beat
weeks.
Ravens, Steelers, Dolphins.
Raiders, Steelers, Dolphins, and then they lost the Chargers, correct?
And the Bears, yes.
And the Bears. So 3-1 against those 3 teams. Like, I thought that they were pretty solid.
Yeah.
But now we're seeing that the Dolphins are not the team that we thought they were going to be, and
And
neither
the
are the
Steelers
Steelers.
too.
Well, yeah, who they
So-
thought they were.
So
But-
I think that the Raiders are going to beat mediocre and average teams here and there, but when they play a good team, I don't expect it to go well. And that just goes to show that they played the Bears and were beat up pretty solidly. So
Yeah. I was a little disappointed in Derek Carr. He's been pretty solid all year. He's been
He
throwing the
did get
ball
hurt.
a ton.
yeah. Well, and Max said it too. He said, if we can just get to Derek Carr, when he is under pressure, he doesn't play well. And
Oh,
he was
yeah.
right. And it's exactly what happened. They got him under pressure and he didn't play well.
What
So
was
he's
that?
a different person.
Joey Bosa, I think, said that.
Yeah, Joey Bosa said that too. Yep. So when you can get to him, he is going to have issues.
He just
And you
curls
gotta- he does. So yep.
So yeah, I mean that's it for football this week. It's still
For NFL
7-0.
football.
The Colts are in the end zone or red zone, but it's
You talk
7-0.
Now
about-
we got to.
Talk about how bad Mahomes has been looking this season.
Yes, we
He
actually
did.
did.
Yeah, it looks 6 interceptions through 5 games is more than he had all last year.
I feel like I heard that before.
Yeah.
Somebody said that
You guys
earlier.
brought it up. Sorry. I guess I missed. I missed half an hour. There was a few like key notes that I made throughout the game on Sunday. I wrote them all down. I've got it all.
We're
on
all just on the same
piece of
page.
paper in front of me. Sure. Okay. Cool. All right. Awesome. Dallas looked awesome.
Yep.
Cool.
Looks like the top 3 team in the NFC.
Oh, definitely top team NFC East for
East.
sure.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I
their,
just been
their
general
defense.
NFC.
Their defense looks great. Trayvon Diggs.
Diggs. Oh my gosh. Trayvon Diggs 6 interceptions. He has as many as Patrick Mahomes.
If he didn't get his ankle rolled up on, he would have had another one too.
Yeah, probably.
Anywho,
All
now
right.
the good stuff, the juicy stuff. College football,
Carson Wentz fumble in the red zone.
Oh,
typical.
yeah. That's
This was one of the biggest upsets I can remember in a while.
This was one of the craziest
Oh.
Saturdays in a while.
I think I know what game you're talking about.
I sure hope you do.
I don't even watch college football, and I know what game you're talking about.
But before we get there, I think we need to talk about there was 2 very, very, very good games outside the one we're gonna talk about. The Texas Oklahoma game was one of the
Oh my
best
gosh.
games of the year,
That's the
probably
game I
a
was thinking of.
few years.
Does Texas have 2 of the top 10 games in NCAA history now?
I wouldn't say. I don't know. Maybe
That
Definitely
Texas
the first-
USC that Texas USC
was
game was
the best
insane.
game ever. Probably
Yes. Mhm.
it was nuts.
Yep. And now I don't know if this is one of the best top 10 games, but maybe one of the top 10 regular season games we've seen in a long, long time.
All right, if you don't know, let me give you a quick rundown of what happened in this game. It's good stuff. Texas jumped out to a 21-0 lead. Me and Wes are talking about how Texas is about to just destroy Oklahoma and how we thought it was going to be a good game, and Oklahoma looks bad. And Jake, let me ask you this: who was the Heisman front runner at the start of the season?
Spencer Rattler.
All right, in this
Spencer
game,
Rattler.
Oklahoma benched Spencer Rattler because he was playing so poorly. And what happened, Jake?
Jake,
And
tell us.
they start coming back with the backup quarterback.
The backup quarterback is throwing phenomenally, taking over this game to lead Oklahoma down 21 to a victory of 55-48. And it was just back and forth. And I don't know how Oklahoma keeps winning, but they keep winning. I know they're going to eventually lose because they're going to slip up one of these games. But this game was so good. It was so exciting. And I can't wait for Oklahoma to lose. Can I mention that? You got anything else to say about the game?
Just nothing other than the fact that Texas needs to figure out what they're going to do with defense. If they're just not going to play defense, then don't bother sending guys out there because you're up 21-0. You have to win that game. I know that Oklahoma's explosive, but you absolutely have to.
I
So,
do think Steve Sarkisian's doing pretty well in his first year.
He is. And it's his first year. But Steve Sarkisian clearly knew he was doing the Alabama and has transferred well to Texas for the most part. A little bit of inconsistency, but you're going to have inconsistency with your first year at the program. All new guys you've never met before you got there this year. There's a lot of chemistry and things to build.
All right, Jake, you can discuss this next game because it's a little more near and dear to your heart. Penn State versus Iowa,
Oh,
3 versus 4.
Yeah.
I knew both the games. I knew both the games you're gonna talk about. I didn't even watch any college football. I knew these games.
I need to pull it up real quick. Why don't I see it? It should be right here.
I heard, so this has nothing to do with Jake's gonna talk about a little bit because it's Penn State Iowa game. But before this game started, I was sitting in the caddy barn, and I heard 3 people place bets that Iowa State was going to win this game. So I was like, I'll pay attention to it while I'm out caddying, see what happens. So made it a lot more interesting when other people were maybe losing money.
We don't support that on the show, Mitch.
I didn't say we supported it.
Yes, we do.
Makes
Same thing. Same thing that happened kind of with Alabama, except for their starting quarterback wasn't benched. He got injured.
You mean Oklahoma?
Yes, I'm sorry. So not Sean Clifford. Oh no, yeah, Sean Clifford, right? Yeah. Sean Clifford was injured early on for Penn State, about halfway through the game. But they were out to a 14-3 lead. And Iowa just kind of slowly chipped back and didn't allow another touchdown after the first quarter. So they were able to end up getting a 23-20 lead. So it wasn't as up and down as the Texas-Oklahoma game was, but for a 3-4 team, when we know how good Penn State's secondary defense is, for Iowa to climb back and hold Penn State to not score another touchdown, it's just kind of like exactly the way you preach a comeback to your team, right? We don't have to get it all one play. Let's just play good defense and march the ball down the field when we get it. And that's exactly what they did. Iowa had long drives where they marched the ball down the field, took up time so Penn State couldn't get the ball back and get another touchdown over and over. Didn't give them many opportunities. And then with the backup quarterback in, they just weren't able to move the ball the way that they probably would have otherwise. And Iowa came up with a huge win to put them at number 2 in the country, while Penn State falls down to like 8,
7,
somewhere around there. Yeah.
Are y'all 7?
Michigan is 8. Michigan's 8. We were 9. We passed Oregon, who didn't play last week.
There's 2 games I want to talk about, but I'm actually going to save the least attractive one.
Did you guys see what happened with Michigan State?
Nope. No.
Michigan State had 4 73-yard touchdowns. I believe that's correct. Let me double check the stats. There was at least 3 or something like that, but like
it's so random.
let me give you the stats real quick. Kenneth Walker III, the running back, had 29 carries for 232 yards. You even think, oh, that clearly must have been the best performance of the day. That's amazing. Nope. Jalen Naylor, receiver, had 5 catches for 221 yards and 3 touchdowns. The longest was 65. So I believe he had 2 63-yard touchdowns and then a 65-yard touchdown. It was absolutely insane. Just like a couple times. It was Rutgers. Yeah, they won 31-13. But yeah, Kenneth Walker, I think, is, in my opinion, the best running back in the NCAA this year. He's just explosive, absolutely explosive every time he touches the ball. So if you're looking at fantasy dynasty drafts, I would look into him. And there's a lot of good guys in the SEC, but it's been Big Ten produces good running backs. And I think Kenneth Walker is the best in the class this year. He had a 94-yard touchdown as well. So amazing stuff. They had huge plays. I mean, that's 4 touchdowns over 60 yards. All 4 of their touchdowns, because they got 31. So all 4 of their touchdowns were 60 yards or more.
Well, 4 times 7 is 21. So there's 10 more points.
4 times 7 is 28.
28, James.
Whatever, dog. And there's a
edit it out.
See?
Edit it out.
That's why I'm not a math teacher.
That's why Mitch and I are.
No,
Because we can do simple arithmetic. That's all it requires. It's just simple multiplication.
Before we get to the other game, again, I want to talk about one other game that ended up being 52-51. I'm going to give you the scoring in this game. It went 7-0, 7-6, 14-6, 14-14, 14-21, 14-24, 21-24, 24-24. And then it goes back and forth nonstop. Like literally one scores one, the other one scores. One scores. And then it went down to the very, very, very last play. And Arkansas went for 2. And they missed it.
Sheesh.
The score was 52-51. And I hate Ole Miss with a passion because I don't know if you know who their coach is. Do you know who their coach is?
Mm-mm.
Lane Kiffin.
Oh, that's right. From LSU, right?
No.
Who did he coach before? Why am I forgetting?
Some small college. He went from Tennessee to USC.
Oh, USC.
Somewhere out west.
I'm thinking of.
And then he went to a small college because he got kicked off that school.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's back. But this was actually probably the best game to watch out of all of them. Arkansas has surpassed expectations. They were expected to be last in the SEC, and they're 13th in the nation. Well, they're not anymore, probably, but they were 13th in the nation. So there's that game, and then the biggest game of the week, the biggest upset I've seen in a very long time was Alabama versus Texas A&M. Alabama has been steamrolling people, and I mean steamrolling people left and right. and they came up against Jimbo Fisher, who does pretty well against them. I think he was one of the best teams against them last year as well.
Yeah, Carl Jones Jenkins Jr. He brought up a very good point. I was playing video games with him the other day. Texas A&M is like that upset team that they're always like a decent team. They've had a few awesome years, like when they had Manziel, but for some reason they're always that team. They're like they could upset someone, and they have several times, which is crazy to see. I was so glad. I love seeing Alabama lose. I know you're an SEC person, James, but I just love seeing Alabama lose. It makes me so happy. I mean, and it just because it opens the door for other teams to have the opportunity to make the playoffs and to do something. You know what I mean? I know that Alabama's better, but they're not going to be the one anymore.
True, but they will be in there.
They'll be there.
One. If they beat Georgia in the SEC championship, they'll probably still be number one.
You're right. They probably will, which makes me angry, but it is what it is.
But this game, it was hard to tell what was going on. They just couldn't play defense all of a sudden, and they have a very good defensive team. And it went back and forth like all these other games that we've enjoyed. And did you see that quarterback? He almost died. He got hit, could barely walk. They had to basically carry him off the field, and he came back in and then do a touchdown, and they won the game because of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So down goes Goliath. He is down. Now the next Goliath has stepped up, and that is the University of Georgia.
Yeah.
And I don't see them slowing down at all because they've only given up 2 touchdowns all year.
There have been some surprises in the NCAA this year. A few teams that had some pretty rough seasons coming up and playing really huge. Michigan being one at 6-0. I still don't think they played a really big contender. Wake Forest is also 6-0. Granted, they haven't played anyone huge, but they'll play North Carolina soon. That should be a bigger game. They also beat
Michigan
Syracuse.
State 6-0.
Michigan State 6-0. Iowa and Penn State, I think people expect them to be good. I don't know if we expect them to be number 3 and 4 in the country. So they're doing well. Kentucky is playing really well. They defeated LSU and Florida.
Yep, I can't believe they beat Florida last week.
Mm-hmm. Trying to see. Yeah, I think that's all of my.
No, I know no one really knows about Tennessee very much, but they have John Heupel, the new coach of them. He was at I don't know. He runs a hurry up offense. That's all I know, and it's completely transformed our team. So I would not be surprised if we upset someone this year, like Georgia or Alabama. I would not be surprised. Yeah. Do I expect it? No, but they're very fun to watch. Finally, it's been a long time. Jamie Pruitt was run the ball, punt the ball, run the ball, punt the ball, and right now we are the highest scoring offense in the first half in the NCAA. I'm pretty sure, and it's because of the hurry up, and it's so fun to watch. So watch out, and if they upset it, I called it first.
Speaking of, I got a question. I don't really watch college football. I think I've only said that about 14 times on this show.
Maybe 15.
Maybe. Can you guys tell me about Malik Willis? Is that actual hype to be hyped about? Good. Or is that they've played nobody good?
Yeah, he's good.
I don't know a whole lot about him, but he's good.
One thing I noticed about this year is I think this is some of the most parity that I've seen in the NCAA. I think 1 through 25 or maybe 1 through 15 is the most even, where we've got some really good teams all near the top, top 10, I think are all really solid teams. I do think that we have the elite few, of course, but if we were to have an 8 or 12 team playoff, I think this would be the year to do it. Cause I think that there's some teams in there that can actually upset some of those top teams. Whereas in years past, if you weren't Clemson or Alabama, everyone knew you had no shot. I don't think we have that this year. And I think it comes down to, if you think of Heisman favorite right now, we don't have a Trevor Lawrence or a Tua or anyone like that this year. And it's even talked about among the NFL analysts who are looking forward to next year's draft. There are no clear studs oh, this guy is going to tear up when he's in the NFL. Right now, we kind of have a lower draft class of just all a bunch of really good guys that are kind of even with each other. So no one's really standing heads and shoulders above the rest. And to me, that's always been one of the biggest issues with college football. It's always fun rooting for your team, but you have to make goals when you root for your team. What am I rooting for this year? Am I rooting for us to win the national championship? No, like with Michigan, for instance. I think this is one of the best years we've had in 15, 20 years, or one of the best teams we will have. But I just know that we don't have the offense and playmaking to win the national championship. So that's not what I'm rooting for. I'm rooting for beat Ohio State, play in the Big Ten championship. That's a win of a year for me. But like, I think there are a lot more teams this year than in years past who can be rooting for their team to win a national championship. So I think this is one of the better years. If you're going to start getting into college football, Mitch, this will be one of the better years to do it because you might see some more variety than you've seen in years past.
I'll think about it.
You should watch the Tennessee game. They're fun to watch.
A lot of
better
games
than
are fun to
Michigan.
watch. All right.
So that's all. That's all I really had in college football. I just want to highlight those 4 games basically.
I do know that Graham Mertz sucks.
Oh yeah,
what I've
he's
heard.
bad. He is bad. I've watched all the Wisconsin games, and so many people were like, "We finally got a quarterback who's going to be able to do things with this offensive line we have and good defense." Then he comes in and it's just like, "Actually, no,
Told you guys.
we don't." And meanwhile, Jack Cohen, who they had the year prior, transfers to Notre Dame, comes back and beats them. Like that's got to be rough. That's got to be rough. What else we need to touch on today? Basketball and hockey are both starting up soon.
Yep, preseason started this past
They're
week.
both in the preseason. Both in the preseason.
Hockey starts this week, actually, doesn't it?
Yeah, it should start this week, I believe.
Wednesday?
And then basketball the following week.
I don't know when it actually starts. I think it's a little longer than that. I don't know for sure though.
2 more sports I know nothing about.
That's okay, Mitchell. Hey, before 2 or 3 years ago, there were infinity sports you knew nothing about. So
That is correct.
we will bring you along. And now any golf news, Mitch, you want to bring up?
We
Phil
talked about this at the
Mickelson
beginning.
won on the Champions Tour. He's won 3 out of his first 4 tournaments on the Champions Tour. That's the senior tour. So it's not like a huge surprise. He's like the youngest guy on that tour, and he just won the PGA, which is the regular PGA Tour. So he's pretty dominant right now in the circles in which he's competing.
Did you guys talk about baseball pretty heavily?
Not at all.
Oh,
Except
haven't
the
talked
playoffs.
baseball at all?
Except the playoffs. Sorry.
Yeah, no, we talked about the playoffs. Like,
What
pretty
else would
heavily.
you talk about?
Yeah, I don't know.
James,
Not sure what James is going.
no,
on.
we didn't talk about baseball.
we
Just
didn't
baseball
talk about it
playoffs.
at all, but we went pretty
We
in
talk-
depth on.
All
We
right.
went in depth about the regular season and what we think is going to happen
Mistakes.
next year.
Were made.
I don't know what your brain was thinking there, but it's okay.
We did talk about it.
Like a
Did you guys make projections on what you think will happen this year? Because
Yeah.
you
No,
weren't
we
here
did
last
not do
week.
that.
So myself and Mac already predicted things. Tampa Bay is not technically eliminated yet, are they? It's 2-1.
They're about to be tonight. They're gonna be
As soon as they
eliminated.
lose, because they're losing like 5-0 right now. Okay. So I picked Tampa Bay to win that series. I picked the Giants to beat the Dodgers, Brewers to win, and then I picked Houston to win. So far, looks like Red Sox have been the only one wrong, I think. What about you guys? What are you guys thinking?
I
already
actually
said it.
predicted Houston and Atlanta to be in the World Series. I really did think that. And it's looking like it's possible. I also had the Yankees winning the wild card game and upsetting the Rays. But so technically, I got the Rays losing, but I had the Yankees beating them, and then I had the Astros beating them. So I did have the Astros beating the White Sox, and then I had the Braves beating the Brewers, and I had the Cardinals upsetting the Dodgers because the Cardinals were hot, and I got that one wrong, obviously.
Yeah. Dodgers just have too much talent. I mean, it's as much as consistency pays off, like over 162 games in a season, like the Giants, like I still think the Giants is it 1-1?
Yeah,
Mhm.
they
Yeah.
play tonight.
I'm definitely gonna be watching that game tonight. I'll be up. Oh, I can't be up late. I got like 4 hours of sleep last night. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I could see either team winning that,
Red
Caffeine.
even though the Giants have been winning that series throughout the year. They have a pretty high win differential. I'm pretty sure.
They like if you look at the years match,
It's like 12-7, right?
I think it might be more like 11-8 or 11-9.
11-8. Okay.
Something like it's the Giants have it, but it's
Okay.
I thought it was by one game.
Maybe.
I thought it might have been one game too, actually.
Okay. Well,
But they do have
either
it.
way, like I know they
Let
only
LA
were behind
forget.
like a game or two, but I'm pretty sure I picked the Giants to win that. But after watching those first couple games, I will not be surprised at all if the Dodgers pull it off because they just have so much insane talent. It's ridiculous. We'll see.
I think if the Giants win the NLDS, actually, I think whoever wins this series wins the World Series.
Nope.
It could happen. Did you see what's his name? The guy, big boy for the Braves, pinch hitter. I can't remember his name.
Big boy?
Jock Peterson.
He's not a big boy.
Jock Peterson's but he's a big boy hitter. He hits dingers.
Yes.
He had 3 pinch hits, and he's 3 for 3 with 2 homers and a double. It's insane.
Anywhere's pearls around his neck.
Well, he always was just good
Good
against.
for
Is he a lefty? He's only good against righties, if I remember correctly. So,
Well, you know who he hit 2 of those home runs against?
What?
The same pitcher. Hauser.
Really? Oh wow.
Yeah.
They must have seen something.
I was listening to the game, and they were like, the commentators were like, I hope this pitching coach is telling out there not to throw the same pitch that he threw last time.
He threw the exact same thing.
I don't know if it's the exact same pitch, but he hit a home run off of him again.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
It was so funny.
It happens. It happens.
And we have the advantage tomorrow in pitching, so I hope we can get a win.
Well, everyone at my school was wearing Brewers gear today, so I'm sure there will be tomorrow. It'll be very sad for them.
You should wear your Braves hat tomorrow.
I've thought about it several times, but I'm not a Braves fan, so like they always be like, "You're just being mean to be mean." I'll be like, "Yeah,
yeah, basically."
Can you imagine? All right. Well, you guys got anything else for tonight?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I didn't prepare any trivia tonight, so
I would like to point out that I don't know if you remember, but I had 2 hot takes on the year.
What were they?
Takes. One was Austin Riley was going to win the MVP, which I don't think he's going to, but he will be.
He'll probably receive some votes. Mm-hmm.
So I got that one wrong. But my other one is that the Braves starting pitcher would be the best in the NL East, and I believe it was.
Oh wow, interesting.
I
love this extra audio of zippers.
Oh, my bad.
The listeners are gonna love that.
I'm all antsy.
I got some hot takes.
Well, I think that very well could happen
in the background.
Yeah.
What?
I think that very well could happen. All right, awesome. Well, this has been the Swing Bump Podcast. Did you guys talk at all? Sorry, nothing yet. Did you talk at all about our picks from last week?
No, we really did not do that.
That's fine. So we will update the picks from last week, and we still have to wait to see what happens tonight in the Colts versus Ravens game. That episode will release Wednesday night. All right. I think that should be everything. Make sure you guys please do like the video and YouTube, zip up your jackets like James, subscribe on YouTube if you are not already. Make sure you follow us or subscribe wherever you watch or listen. And then please just comment, give us reviews. It goes a long way. We really appreciate it. With all that being said, this is James, Mitch, and Jake signing off. This is the Swing Bump Podcast. Catch you next time. Breaking news, alert. Literally as soon as we finish hitting the as soon as we finish the show, news breaks that John Gruden is resigning due to comments that he made in an email. How long ago was this? 2016?
No, I think it was like 10 years ago, I think.
10 years. Yeah, I think I remember it was quite a while back. Made some racially insensitive comments about making fun of a player's physical appearance. That doesn't go so well. So he retires. What is this? We'll leave the politics out of it. It's wrong. We'll just straight up say that to make sure we say that's wrong. Don't do that. What does this do to the landscape of the NFL and to the Raiders?
Well, I mean, like I said, we just talked about this a little bit, but we don't know. I mean, this happened just abruptly. Like this all came out this past week, and he's already resigned within a week. So you can tell they're not going to be ready for it. The worst part is the team was playing well. I mean, they've had some hiccups.
Before this past week.
I wonder if this affected this game.
I was just thinking the same thing.
Because it's a mess right now. He resigned.
The whole team saw what he said, and I know it's 10 years ago, but you lose the respect of your players. You do something like that. And you can, like Mitch, I think you said something like this similarly a week or two ago about Urban Meyer, right? And you lose the respect of your players, you lose the locker room, you lose the team. And I think that could be an effect of why we maybe saw them play so poorly against the Bears, because we know they're a more talented team and they've been operating better as well. So that's very possible. Maybe now underneath whoever their new interim head coach is, they can turn things around based off of what last week is, or what happened last week. But yeah, bad luck. Not for the Raiders organization. I'm sure it's not something they knew about or anything like that, but just for John Gruden himself. Like, I doubt he gets another position ever.
I doubt he gets back to ESPN. I don't know what he's going to do.
Yeah. I'm sure he can manage.
But you
probably
heard
be
it here
fine.
first.
So
Literally just broke a few minutes ago.
You probably already heard.
So do we think
And by the time this comes
what
out.
is this? What does this do to their playoff chances?
I didn't think they were going to actually make the playoffs, and I definitely don't think they're going to make it now.
Yeah.
Really? See, with how poorly the Chiefs have been playing, like I think that they play them twice. You can sneak a game against them. They'd probably lose both their games, the Chargers. But I don't know. I feel like they could have gotten one of the 2 wild cards. I don't think that I think one's gonna come out of the AFC North. None are gonna come out of the AFC East. There's not one gonna come out of the AFC South. I think two will come out of
AFC West.
one will definitely come out of AFC West for sure. So I mean, it would come if they could beat out the Chiefs, it could have happened. Probably won it.
I don't think so. I
mean, the
I don't
Ravens
think
could.
they're going to be. Yeah.
If the Ravens lost enough, I could see the Raiders outperforming the Ravens. I think the Browns win the division. The Browns just look so good. So I think Browns win that division. I could see the Raiders potentially beating out the Ravens. I think this might hurt that chance though. So if we said Chiefs and Chargers, one of them win the AFC West, one of them gets a wild card. And then we say who wins the AFC North or AFC South?
Titans.
Yeah, Titans. It's not going to be Houston, Jags. I don't think Colts are going to make it either. So if they did, I think the Raiders would beat them out. So I think it just comes down to Raiders or Ravens, and it could be either one of those teams. I'd probably give the edge to the Ravens now losing their head coach, though. So
And they're a game ahead.
Yeah. And they
And they're
definitely,
playing right now.
well, if the Ravens win, yeah, they'll definitely, plus with a win ahead of them, or a win head to head against them, right? The Ravens did beat the Raiders. Or was it vice versa? I can't remember. That game was, there's been so many Raiders and Ravens games on Monday nights. Yeah.
Raiders beat the Ravens.
Okay, so they really did have a shot. If they had the same record, the Raiders would have been in.
You just
So I
never
don't know.
Depends
This
on the
hurts
new
their
coach.
odds for sure. We'll see what happens with I imagine they'll probably just promote like an offensive or defensive coordinator or something like that and make him interim head coach. All right, well, that's the breaking news. Let us know what you think about that in the comments. Tell us what you think. I know we got a few Raiders fans listen to the show. Tell us what you think in the comments and what the Raiders will do from here on. What does the season look like? All right. Again, this has been the Swing Bat Podcast. Catch you guys later.
For the second time.